The B-29 was the most modern bomber in the world in the 1940s, pressurized with computer-controlled guns. The round trip to Japan was 14.5 hours from bases in the Pacific. They launched every 30 seconds for hours. There were so many that when the last bomber took off, the first was returning from its target. In late September of 2018, the only two B-29s in the world still flying made a rare appearance in Great Bend, Kansas during the Great Bend Air Fest. It is the first time there have been this many B-29s here since the 1940s. Fifi is first to arrive, followed by Doc. Those with a special connection to the Superfortress recall the horror of combat. Fifi crew member Dan Owens was named for his father's friend who died above Japan.
My dad's best friend from elementary school all the way through high school was a boy by the name of Dan Godsey. Both of them went into the Army Air Corps. My dad became a mechanic on a B-26, the Martin Marauder, and Dan went into pilot's training. He flew as a pilot on practically every aircraft that they had, from Stearman right on up to the B-29. And he was on a mission on February 10th, 1945, to bomb the Nakajima aircraft factory. On that mission, just prior to being over the target, a Japanese airplane, which had been shot down by one of our other bombers, was out of control and flew head-on into the plane that Dan was in. Dan's plane then collided with another aircraft in flight, which caused both airplanes to go down. After the war, my parents thought enough of Dan's sacrifice that they thought I should be named after him. So that's how I received my name of Dan.
Former radio operator Vince Van Velzer recalls the time his B-29 crash-landed.
We were based in the island of Tinian, and Japan Island was due north. And halfway in between was Iwo Jima. And so after we captured Iwo Jima, then we had a place we could stop for fuel if we had to. We were coming back from a mission, and we did not stop at Iwo. We were overflying it. We'd been holding all this altitude, and the first thing we knew, we were back to our home island, and we were way too high. After he made the turn to final, he was halfway down the runway, and we hadn't touched yet. So he called for a go-around. But I kind of think what happened was that the flight engineer said, "Not with me or not," and he shut the other two off. We landed on the belly and skidded off the end of the pavement into the dirt. It was perfectly safe from there then.
Aircraft Commander Jeff Linebaugh says the B-29 has some quirks.
The B-29 is especially challenging just because of the size of the airplane. It's geared so that full throw is all the way over like this. And it is not unusual at all while we're flying formation to see control inputs like this. And it takes some time for the airplane to actually react because it is so heavy on the controls. So it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge.
Fifi is the star of the show in kids' eyes. Airplane Commander Al Benzing explains why.
We have an interesting mission. You could very generally say it's education, but when you really dig down a bit, it's about having a flying museum from World War II, and it's about bringing this aircraft to people, not just the general public, but veterans who may have flown one of these aircraft. If you've been able to have several hundred or thousand people, do tours of the aircraft, and you've done 3 or 4 ride flights with 10 people apiece, and they are so amazed at it and enjoy it so much, you can't help but go away from this, feeling like, another great tour stop.
You'll soon be able to visit Doc at Wichita's Dwight David Eisenhower Airport, while Fifi is based in Fort Worth, Texas. The two bombers will tell the history of World War II for decades to come.